Fathom AI Zoom Notetaker is quickly becoming my favorite AI tool. It is unbelievable, all of the use cases and how powerful it is for sales organizations, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs. It's unbelievable. But you don't just need to take my word for it. There's over 500,000 people using Fathom AI right now. And in this video, I want to walk you through some of the use cases and some specific stories on how this Fathom AI has just really transformed the way that I work and some of the sales organizations that I do work with as well. So let's start by just kind of breaking down what is Fathom AI. Well, it's a virtual meeting note taker. It follows you into all of your Zoom meetings, Google Meet meetings, Teams meetings. It's going to follow you around to all your virtual meetings. And it's going to transcribe every single word. It's going to record the entire video so you can watch replays, and it's going to give you notes. Now, one of the things that I love about the Fathom AI Notetaker is that it gives you next steps. One of the problems that I run into in Zoom meetings is you walk away and you're like, okay, that was a nice 45-minute meeting, but what do I do next? Well, Fathom is going to give you next steps. It's also going to automatically send a copy of the recording to anybody that was in that meeting. So they're also able to see the next steps and references and some of the issues that came up. Additionally, guys, and this is to me a huge deal, is that it has an API, which means that I can integrate it automatically into my CRM. What does that mean? Well, any calls that I have or my team has, and we'll get to that in a moment, how this impacts your sales organization and your teams, but all the calls that I have automatically get uploaded into my CRM. So if I have a call with, let's say, John Smith, this week, it'll automatically upload all that call data, next steps, link to the full recording, everything within John Smith's contact role in my CRM. Why is that important? Well, now, if I go back in and I want to see some notes from that call in 3 weeks, it's right there. If someone else in my organization, maybe another coach, or maybe there's a customer service rep or a tech support rep, they can actually see all the notes from previous meetings. And guys, it's really important. And I don't want to get too sidetracked, but on a forward-thinking level, guys, the more first-party data that we have as businesses and business owners and employees, the better our systems are going to be, because everything is going to be run off AI right now. A few weeks ago, I covered a story from Microsoft CEO, and he had revealed his favorite AI prompts, and all of his favorite AI prompts were predicated off the fact that he's using Microsoft 360, and that all the software in his tech stack is all informing his AI. So his Google Calendar, his Note Taker, his Gmail, his Outlook, everything, and his spreadsheets, it all informs, all that first-party data is informing the AI. So where Fathom comes in is it's constantly collecting all of this data. And hold on to that thought, I'm gonna get to that in one moment, because when we decided to move our Fathom account to enterprise, it completely transformed our sales team. And I'll get to that in just a moment. One of the other cool things that I can do with Fathom is I can communicate with Fathom's AI bot. So I can easily just go in and say, hey, Fathom, what were my top takeaways from this call? What did I mess up? What could I have done better? What were the problems? What were the frequently asked questions? I'll get to that, more on that in a moment. There's just so much with Fathom, guys. It's really, really impressive program. Yeah, it's really impressive. And so anyway, I can have these conversations back and forth with this chatbot that's specifically trained and using the context of that call. It's really good. It also gives timestamps. So, if I know that Judy said something, but I can't remember exactly what she said, and I got to go back into the Zoom call to find out what she said, I could just ask Fathom, hey, what did Cindy say? And it'll say, oh, go to timestamp 35 minutes and 42 seconds. And Cindy asks this question. I can go to that exact timestamped moment. It's very, very, very effective. It also identifies objections, calls to action, questions, different data. It's honestly, guys, if you are ever on Zoom calls or Google Meet calls, and you're not using an AI note taker, you don't know what you're missing. I'll put a link below. This is not a sponsored video. I do have an affiliate link with Fathom. click the link below. You can get started on a free trial. The free trial is very robust, very good. I would encourage you to check it out because it's completely transformed the way that I take meetings. I'm just very impressed. And by the way, if you also have any experience with that, put it in the notes, put it in the comments below. If you have a really good comment on how you're using Fathom, I will pin that comment because at the end of the day, that's what I care about. I want people to learn and grow and really thrive when it comes to AI, guys. For guys like you and me, that is everything. The world is changing very, very dramatically. We're covering tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs that are being displaced already, millions of jobs in the future. And guys, if we're not adapting to AI, we're gonna get left behind. So anyway, put your comments below. Now, I wanna kind of talk about Fathom Enterprise and how it's impacted the way that our sales organization works. I'm gonna give you a couple key examples because, man, if you listen, if you have a team, if you have people on your team that are taking Zoom calls, it is very difficult to understand what's being said in those meetings. You know, why is Jim not closing as much? What's happening in Jill's meetings? What's going on? Guys, all you need is you just need Fathom to follow them around, and then you have a note-taking assistant that understands and knows everything that's happening in their meetings. And I'll give you a very, very specific, practical, important reason why this is crucial to your sales org. We implemented this enterprise Fathom account, and basically the way that it works is Fathom joins all the meetings that our sales team is having, okay, and our customer success. So it's following all their meetings, and it's saving all of that into Fathom's cloud. It's all there. So anybody any of your executive team members can access it, and which all by itself is great. It's integrated into our HubSpot CRM. So all those meetings that are happening are updating contact information, robust, valuable, trustworthy contact information and data into each contact, which in and of itself is really valuable because we were having a hard time. I don't know if you struggle with this. We were having a hard time getting our sales team to leave good notes on their calls. And, you know, it was really hard for us to figure out what's working and what's not working. And that's where Fathom came in. So one of the things that we found very quickly when we had this Fathom note taker following our sales team is that one of our sales guys was selling his own personal competitive coaching. And for this organization, we're an education and Amazon consulting firm, and he's selling his own consulting on the side. Red flag, get him out of there. We can't have that. And you know, the longer this guy kept on doing that, the less revenue, the less growth there is for our organization. So you're able to find like the bad actors within your organization by using a tool like Fathom. But it also highlighted some real sales opportunities, right? So we had a sales guy that was kind of underperforming and just wasn't closing a lot of deals. And we were having a hard time pinpointing it. So we got him on Fathom. And after a few weeks of calls, we had about 20 calls or so. What we did is we put all of his calls into a folder in Fathom, in the Fathom cloud, into this folder, right? And we found that he was making a few like really basic beginner mistakes. So instead of hiring an outside sales consultant, spending them thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, or even more to audit all of our sales, we just implemented Fathom, had him copying, watching his calls, following his calls, which was useful to him. It's useful to the enterprise. And then what we did is we realized immediately that this guy's talking too much. Guys, get this. This sales guy was doing up to 90%, in some cases even higher, up to 92% of the talking in sales calls. And anybody that's good at sales understands that sales is not about talking to the person, it's about active listening. It's about extracting the problems and presenting solutions and putting the prospect in the shoes of someone who would be using your product or service. So immediately we said, hey, I'll say John, you're talking too much. Spending 90% of the time talking. It's no wonder that people's eyes are glazing over and they don't know what to do next because all you're doing is talking. You got to stop, okay? We also identified that the way he was starting calls wasn't very effective. You know, he was doing a good job of like, you know, small talk, but he wasn't like asking good, open-ended questions. It was a lot of yes, no. It was a lot of, let me just show you. There was no like, well, what's the problem that you're facing? And how's that impacting your business? And what would it mean to your business if you were able to solve that problem? Like, he wasn't doing this. And what was happening was this was leading to people that weren't engaged in the sales call. And so we were able to coach them through that. Hey, here's a list of open-ended questions that you should be asking. Make sure that you're hitting at least 3 to 4 of these. Pepper these in after you show a particular solution. Ask an open-ended question. You gotta be asking open-ended questions. So I was able to identify that. He wasn't doing great CTAs. So at the end of his sales calls, he wasn't like giving clear calls to action, next steps. He's not signing up anybody on the call. What he was typically doing is saying, you know, oh, here's a link, I'll send you an email, and you can go ahead and take action from there. And then he wasn't following up. So there's like all these little problems that are stacking up. And by using Fathom to kind of highlight all these smaller problems, we were able to start putting better steps in place. Instead of speculating on why his close rate was low, we were able to implement Fathom AI and immediately identify the problems. Let me ask you a question. What would that mean for your business? What would that mean for your sales calls? If you were very easily able to audit what your sales team was doing, and it's not just for sales, it's for customer service. How are the customer service calls going? Are they upselling? Are they cross-selling? And get this is another good one. FAQs. So one of the things that we've been trying to dictate on the marketing side, is I focus more on marketing, is, you know, what are the problems? What are the frequently asked questions? When people get onto calls with our sales team, you know, what are the pain points? And we're able, this is just so amazing. You know, instead of doing all this long, complicated stuff, we just go into a bunch of these meetings. We say, what are the frequently asked questions? What are the problems? Can you assess who our key avatar is? What are the best answers and solutions? And we're able to create videos. We're able to create a more robust FAQ page. We're able to improve our emails. We're improving our landing pages and A/B testing more effectively, creating better avatars. And that's exactly what we did. I was asking the organization to put together a list of frequently asked questions. I went into Fathom. I looked at what the customer service calls were showing. I looked at what the sales calls were showing. I brought it out in seconds. In seconds, we were able to identify a number of gaps in our FAQ page and in our meeting scheduling page. And, you know, these are just a few quick examples. It'll be interesting to me to see how our conversion percentages increase over time. But I mean, just last week, our sales guy closed 8 deals. I think it was 8, maybe it was 7. Anyway, he closed a bunch of deals just last week, up from, you know, a couple weeks of 0. So, you know, and that's the other thing I think, you know, I'm not big on micromanaging and Big Brother, but one of the advantages of having AI kind of doing these assessments is it's a neutral third party. You know, sometimes it hits different. You know, it's one thing when like your boss, your manager says you need to do this. It's another when the AI says, hey, you're not closing, here's the stuff. And I think that a lot of people don't really fully understand what's happening here. In the job market as a whole, and this is kind of a macro conversation, a lot of middle managers are very expensive. And I expect that, you know, a lot of organizations are going to start using AI to kind of serve as that neutral third party middle manager that is able to quantitatively and objectively review things like sales calls and say, hey, John, you're spending 90% of the time talking when statistically statistically 40% is what you should be hitting for. You need to cut down your talking by half. You need to cut your talking in half. And you know, it's these kind of objective things that I think will really impact your salespeople. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching today's video. Again, a little bit different today, but I wanted to, again, just highlight how powerful these tools are. I don't want to be, listen guys, we're not a doom and gloom channel here. Obviously bad stuff is happening. You know, the jobs report that I covered yesterday from Challenger & Gray was not great. It was not great. There's going to be more layoffs coming. But what I want most is for guys like you to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. And understanding and using these tools now is gonna be really important, because I'll tell you what, I don't know what the future holds, but if I lose my job, if I lose clients, if I lose customers, if I lose some of my income here, I'm gonna be able to go to the next guy and say, hey, this is how you're not using Fathom, your sales are down. Have you considered using an AI tool to improve your sales? I'll show you how to integrate it immediately. We'll integrate it with your CRM. I'll give you some steps to improve close percentages and some things to look at and empower your sales team. Done. That'll be 25 grand. Because I have receipts. And please believe I'm keeping receipts from these customers that I'm working with and applying these implementations with. So I can go to them and say, hey, when I started with this company on this date, this is where we were at. When I left the company at this date, this is where we were at. I can do the same for you. And that, I think, is the key, guys. Use AI to make your life better, to make your organization better, to create higher conversions. And then regardless of what happens at the company you're working at now, you will be able to go to the next company and say, this is what I did for company A. I can do the same thing for you. Do you want it? Yes, let's go. At any rate, check out Fathom. Great. I mean, again, it's quickly becoming one of my favorite, most impactful AI tools. Check it out. There's a link below. Try the free trial. It's great. I think you'll be very impressed. There's no additional charge to you. In fact, I think you save a little bit of money if you end up signing up. But regardless, check it out. I think you'll like it. And go forth and conquer, boys. I'll see you in the next video, all right? Peace.